Georgia Tech's coming up this weekend. I've been watching football for 40 plus years. This rivalry's been in Georgia's hands most of the time. There have been some spots where Georgia Tech's been the better team and the better program, but it's been a long, long time since that has been the case. I don't know when the last time they won. It had to have been 8 or 9 years ago, something in that range. And again, Georgia wins the majority of games by far. There's no comparison in the programs right now, but it's still matched up as it is with Florida State, Kentucky, Louisville, and Clemson, South Carolina as one of those ACC, SEC games on the last weekend of the season. So, Brad, I'll ask you, what does this game mean? Or in broader senses, what is the Georgia Tech rivalry at this point? I know it's a mismatch on the field, but what are the fan bases? What's the overlap of these teams, these schools, the recruiting, all that?
Well, the Georgia Tech fans, in my opinion, are typically Georgia Tech fans right up until about the time they play Georgia, and then after they play Georgia, you don't see them anymore. It's not to trash talk Georgia Tech fans. There's a lot of great people out there, Georgia Tech fans. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong team. Georgia has been playing Georgia Tech since November 4th of 1893. So this is a rivalry that's extremely old. And by the way, Georgia Tech won that game, so we'll give you guys credit for that. Only 13 other teams have met more times than Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Auburn's one of them, in my opinion. So the current overall record right now is 67-39. If you look back, I think Georgia Tech's won this game maybe 6 times in the past 20 years or so, maybe more, 30 years, somewhere in there. And it's been pretty tough for Georgia Tech to get out there and outclass and beat Georgia on the field. And it doesn't matter whether we play in Atlanta or we play in Athens. This is just what they call clean old-fashioned hate. If you watch this game, it does. For years and years, the Georgia Tech ran the triple option, and Georgia fans hated it because we would almost always end up with injuries from knees. From the Georgia Tech players often would dive at the Georgia players' knees, and so it was considered, I guess, kind of classless. And so it helped fuel that rivalry. And we've actually seen a few times where things have kind of emotions have ran a little high. If I go back a couple of years ago, we look at George Pickens actually got into an altercation with Mr. Swilling. A lot of people kind of down-talked Pickens for doing that, but it did appear that Mr. Swilling on tape initiated that on a couple of plays prior and continued to do so. Referees didn't see it, so they couldn't really react. At a certain point, Mr. Pickens had enough, and then we all know what happened after that. But this rivalry is great because there's a lot of people in this state that'll ride around with the Georgia G or Georgia Bulldogs tags or stickers on their truck, car, bus, whatever. And then you'll see somebody with a Georgia Tech, and if you pull up next to them at a light, they almost never look at you. They know. There's people that wear shirts around all the time that's got the Georgia emblem on it. It says, "We run this state." It's a matter of pride. Yes, Georgia Tech's based in Atlanta, largest city in Georgia, but Athens is where the football team lives. So it's pretty intense. We enjoy it.
So now that I'm looking at the scores, I do remember the last time Georgia Tech won 28-27 over Kirby Smart in his first season. So I took a shot at 8 to 9 years ago, but it was actually in 2016. Kirby Smart's first team lost to Georgia Tech 28-27. Mark Richt lost to Georgia Tech twice in, what was he there, 15 years, 01 through 15. So that's 13-2 for Mark Richt against Georgia Tech. So that's what we've had recently.
Now, if you go back to the 98, 99, and 2000 seasons, Georgia Tech won those 3 games in a stretch. And I believe we were ranked 17th, 20th, and 18th. Georgia Tech was ranked 17th, 20th, and 18th. So, back then the teams were really solid. But, since then it's pretty much been all Georgia. there's a couple other a couple of other YouTubers out there that follow Georgia Tech, and those guys, it's very difficult to get them to have a conversation with me about the teams and being objective. Recently, Georgia Tech did make a transition in the head coach. They got a new head coach, and they're trying to get that program turned around. If you're an ACC fan, now is a great time to get that turned around, because overall the conference seems to kind of be on a little bit of a downswing. So if they can get it up and running now, they're in a place where they can perform great recruiting. A lot of great players come out of the the Georgia area, the Mariettas, the Sandy Springs, a lot of Bartow County, a lot of quality players in the state of Georgia, and they keep going everywhere but Georgia Tech.